I haven't been able to touch Openfire in a bit, and when I got back, all I saw was this. General programming tip before I really begin, please use comments. Godot even has a tiny editor notes window right here so that you can keep better track of what you're working on or what needs attention. Anyway, now I have to sift through all these codes again before I can truly jump back into Openfire. But this backtracking is giving me a good chance to realize what things I did right and what things I did very not right. And here are some of those very not right things that I've come across, not only as a reminder to myself, but to warn whoever watches this. Let's go! In programming, we often send data this way and that through methods or functions, and data can even be transferred between different scripts, like a metro station of some sort. In Godot, we can easily pass down information using getNode or using the $sign shorthand within the scene tree. We can use this to pass down information such as numbers, health, or to activate functions within the children node. Then to send information up, all you need to use are signals with arguments. We can connect them to the parent and send information or events such as collisions or mouse click. Here comes my mistake. I made a few scripts that relied on this deck variable. It contains a list of custom resources, and it's easy enough to make this list or any of its contents transfer down the scene hierarchy when needed. But along the way, the deck can get modified or rearranged, and I would need to move its new state back up to update the original array. This was fine at first, with only a few scripts sharing this variable, but when I added a few more scenes to it, it all got hairy as I had to keep updating each script to follow the base variable. Well, now I know that I could have made my work so much easier by using Godot's autoload feature. Instead of this tangled web of data transfers, we can instead grab this information from a single global variable. It's written right here. Using an autoload allows me to easily modify its contents and update all dependent scripts during the game's runtime. Not only will this reduce the number of redundant methods that I created, but it will also better organize the final structure for the game, especially when I try expanding the usage of this variable in the future with shops or a deck editor. Now, if you feel like you're working way too hard for something, then high chances you probably are. It's easy to get caught up on writing JSON files or pathfinding algorithms, but for every complicated workaround in coding, there is probably a straight line for where you want to go. You have probably heard the phrase, work smarter, not harder. And the hard part is not knowing what smarter is. We all have our own pace. I would argue that sometimes it's much easier to just brute force yourself to a problem. It's better than being too intimidated by some big brain answers on Stack Overflow. Take every step you can towards your goal. Worst comes to worst, you can re-implement your codes to something more elegant in the future. But if you're planning to, please don't forget your comments. For this project, my best example would be how I almost started writing more JSON files than I needed. Godot makes it really easy to work with JSON files. I even use it extensively in my other ongoing project. For a brief moment, I started writing JSON files for character names and descriptions, their weapons, and such. Then I realized, why would I still need to write a JSON file for this? Evoke Godot's parser and pluck the information from it, when I could just skip to the information by writing it directly as a variable. It's not a lot of data and it's not going to be changed often, and even if it gets too lengthy, maybe then I can reconsider using a JSON file. Finally, and I can't stress this enough, there's a huge difference between a one-off game jam and a full-on video game. Especially as a solo developer, getting caught up into one small area of your project can really get you down. I focused almost all of my past efforts into the battle part of the game, and sure, this is at least 90% of the game, but it can get tiring working on the same thing again and again. Getting tired means less motivation, and less motivation means slower break. This might not work for everyone, but here's a small suggestion the next time you find yourself unmotivated. Try to move on to other parts of your project. It's easy to feel bad about not making any progress, but you won't make progress if you keep yourself stuck in one part of your project. Since I've been so focused on combat, I've neglected any work on menus or UI, and even if I'm never excited to work on user interface, when I finally started it, I was able to hit off small milestones and even felt my own motivation coming back to me as I went. With my newfound motivation, I started thinking of how I'll implement the other menus, the title screen, the deck editor, the map, and maybe even a shop later on. But knowing myself, I'll probably get tired of that too eventually, but by then, I'll be able to shift my focus back to combat. Mainly the enemies and the boss battles, which I'm pretty excited to start working on. And if not that, I can work on art, I guess. So I'm back here at square one. I have stripped off a lot of my original combat code, but at least I still have a few big pieces for me to play around with. So far the most I have to properly show is this very unfinished character select screen. But that's alright. Over time I'll be able to spruce it up to something much better than what I have now. I know this listing was kinda weird. I gave a concrete suggestion with the auto load feature, but the next two were pretty conceptual, if anything. I really hope that you're able to get some proper advice out of me. On that note, I think I have to go. I am the Noontime Dreamer. Thank you so much for watching, and don't you ever stop dreaming.